silver has become infinitely more deadly in this than it ever was in Werewolf the Apocalypse. In Werewolf the Apocalypse, silver was an issue, not a dispute, but silver in this is positively lethal. There are very few ways of getting around it, and I do mean very few. Compared to mortal characters, you don't have humanity in this, you have harmony, which makes sense really, because if you suddenly discover that you're not human anymore, generally speaking, humanity is the least of your problems. It really is. You also have essence as well, which powers your powers and things like that, and you have renown as well, which allows you to go up in levels, and when you go up in levels you can get access to bigger and better powers. Everything has a points value to it, even the rituals. The rituals used to be just something they tacked on at the end. Well, for the Apocalypse, now you have to pay to know them, which makes it more balanced, because your shaman in your party will be more balanced in terms of what you can and can't do. Right, okay then. So, what don't I like about this? Because there are a couple of things I don't like about this. Now, there's two issues I've got. The first is, I don't like the fact that it's not well supported. At the moment, there's about 8 or 9 books out for this, and it's been out for 2 or 3 years now. If you go to the Werewolf website, White Wolf, you will find that there is nothing due to come out. No splat books, no setting books, no nothing. Now, had White Wolf not done what they've done recently, that wouldn't be an issue, because there would have been a lot more books out for this line, because Shadows of the UK, Skin Changers and Shapeshifters, I think it is, those 3 books, they're all werewolf books. You read them and they're clearly werewolf books. They make references to a lot of rules and issues in here, which if you haven't got this book will make zero or little sense. And what they've done is they've tacked on a bit of werewolf and a bit of vampire, a bit of mage, and a bit of mortals, and they've slapped the World of Darkness name on it and called it a generic book. And a couple of other settings have had this. A couple of other settings like vampires had New Mexico poached from them. I'm not sure if there's a mage book. Yeah, there is a mage book which had the same deal done to it, but not to the extent that Wells had it. Wells had 3 books, to my knowledge, stolen from underneath it, which means that dedicated werewolf players have to double check to see if the book they're actually buying is actually a werewolf book or not. It's a bit weird. Obviously, though, they're thinking that people will more likely buy the World of Darkness book than the World of Werewolf book. It's fair enough, it's marketing tactic and it's their license, they can do what they want with it. The second issue, and this is only an issue if you've played this. If you haven't played this, this will be a non-issue to you whatsoever. They have changed the names of everything. Now, the basic core concepts of the game are the same. You have 5 forms: human, near-human, war form, near-wolf, wolf. 5 forms, right? They changed the names of all of them. The actual name of the werewolves they call themselves has changed. Everything has changed. And that is a huge issue to me, because it's a massive... what's the word? It's a deal. It's a big deal for me, because I'm having to relearn the entire vocabulary of the game again. When you read Vampire Requiem, they haven't done that with Vampire Requiem. Vampire Requiem uses a vocabulary that's almost about 90%, if not more, based around the vocabulary used in Vampire the Masquerade. So, young vampires are called Neo-Knights, elder vampires are called Elders. Diablo is where you steal a soul. Even some of the clans are still in there, like Ventru, Nosferatu. Some of the other clans there is Bloodlines, Blood, big issue, Prince, Sheriff, things like that. All these terms, all these parts of the vocabulary of the game are still there. But pretty much everything that was in Werewolf the Apocalypse has been ripped out of here, renamed and slapped back in again, and it's the exact same thing. I think there's like 2 things in here which share the same name as they did in Werewolf the Apocalypse, and that's the levels of spirits. You've got Janglings and Geflings and things like that. But it's just, if you've never played Werewolf the Apocalypse, it's not going to be an issue for you at all, because you're going to pick up this book and you're going to go, well, that's a pretty weird name, but I can get used to it. For me, I go, it's a pretty weird name and it's not what it used to be called. That's my issue. But there you go, that's my only gripe with it. If you want to play a World of Darkness game which doesn't really revolve around politics and doesn't revolve mechanics which can be a bit brain crunchy at times, then get this. By the way, when I'm talking about politics, I'm talking about vampire, when I'm talking about brain cruncher mechanics, I'm talking about mage, because true magic and mage is very difficult to work out if you're not a genius. Either way, if you... Oh yes, and it may be advertised as a horror game, it's not. When your players are 9 foot tall muscle, fangs and fur killing machines which are 9 invulnerable to anything but a few things, like silver for example, it's very hard to terrify them. What this mainly revolves down to is like a honour, trial by combat, might is right type game. A bit like Klingons or things like that. You get the idea. And Vikings. I mean, that kind of setting. In a modern setting, obviously. There's some lovely spiritualism in here, which bastardizes a lot of stuff from other religions here, there and everywhere, mainly from the concept that everything has a spirit to it. I forget what the actual term is called. So there's a lot of role-playing elements built into that, and what else? Oh yes, it can devolve down to a splatterfest game if you let it, so it's something you want to try and avoid, unless of course your players like that. Okay guys, I think I've rambled on enough. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to cut this in half. Thank you for your time, and goodbye.